New this morning, across the country, communities are seeing an increase in immigration enforcement. Cities like Chicago are seeing military-style enforcement, and this is raising concerns for some folks here in West Michigan. West Michigan advocates are sounding the alarm on possible operations here locally. 13 on your side's Aaron Sullivan joining us live from the newsroom this morning. Aaron, you've been speaking with immigration assistance centers and local activists about this topic, so what can you share with us this morning?
Tanner, good morning. Well, with the recent uptick in ICE arrests seen across the country, immigration advocates say they're preparing for future operations that would possibly impact our local communities. Now, ICE arrests have already been reported across West Michigan, but with recent military-style raids like Chicago's Operation Midway Blitz, advocates say there is a new level of concern. Immigration legal advocates say no matter where you stand on the issue of immigration, you should know your rights and what to do if you're stopped by federal agents. Michigan Legal Help states that ICE agents cannot enter someone's home without a warrant. If the officer does not have a warrant, you do not have to open your door. And if stopped in public, you have a right to remain silent. You can explain your status to the officer if you want to, but advocates recommend speaking with a lawyer first.
I, again, would always recommend that any person finding themselves in that situation would always ask for identification. I would always recommend that that person also ask to see any warrant signed by a judge, a judicial warrant signed by a judge. Those are the two most important things. If that person does not have those two things, then I would call the police, because without identification, you don't know who that person is. And again, we are seeing this happen in our society where people are being approached by random people who are not showing their faces, who are dressed or appear to be ICE officers who have no identification, refuse to identify themselves, and you have a right to protect yourself. And I would also suggest that they remain silent. You don't need to provide any information as far as who you are, identify yourself. I would state that you do not choose to speak to this person.
The ACLU of Michigan also recommends making copies of any legal documents and keeping them with you. Also, if you have an attorney, it's recommended that you memorize their phone number in case of an emergency. They also recommend not signing any documentation if you don't fully understand it. Tanner?
Well, you also mentioned rumors about future operations. What has ICE said about this, Aaron?
Well, ICE did dismiss reports of an operation called Freaky Friday, a crackdown to deport migrant children who entered the country without their parents. In a statement sent to 13 on your side, they said these allegations are categorically false. The anti-ICE activists have made up ridiculous term Freaky Friday to instill fear and spread misinformation that drives the increased violence occurring against federal law enforcement.
All right, Aaron Sullivan reporting live in our newsroom with the latest updates on that. Aaron, we appreciate it. Thank you.